So I don't know if you'll be able to see that in there. The water is still coming up to almost the top of the pipe. I mean, we're only about probably a foot down right now. So it's definitely above ground level. So I guess I'm gonna have to talk to those guys that did the well, because they told me that after I started using it to kind of monitor how high it was going up in that pipe, just because it should be settling down more and we would like it to be under the ground level, because otherwise I think what's gonna happen here is that this is gonna end up freezing. Obviously it's up above the ground right now, and you can deal with some cracked pipes and things like that. So I'm gonna have to call them and kind of see what we're gonna do about that. But I wanted to check that today. I haven't done that in a while, to see where the level was sitting at, and it's still coming up quite a bit. So they might need to do something else to seal that off down under the ground. Also, today is November 29th, and I guess they just decided they don't want to take this corn out because it is long overdue for being out of the field, but still there. 60 degrees though today, so I thought I'd come out here and take advantage of the nice weather, kind of get a few odds and ends kind of done today, and I'll take you along for the ride to show you kind of what I'm up to. There's a few areas that I also want to explore now that the brush has sort of come down and I can see things a little better. There's a few areas that I want to look at a little more closely, and we'll go do that now. See down here, we'll get out and look now, but there's water coming through at this spot right here. So obviously all of this section up here runs downhill into this low spot, so it's very apparent that the water is coming from up the hill, but I don't see any water up at the top of the hill, so it's got to start somewhere in here, whether it's a spring or whatever it is. Right, so we had that marked earlier this summer because we saw there was a big drop off, but now what I wanted to be able to tell was maybe how much it drops off in here. I know that Kelsey came through here one time on the ATV this summer and had quite a ride because there was definitely a big drop off. So, and you can see right here where that big drop off was. Down there, major drop. So that must go all the way out to the creek. It just amazes me every single time because there's so many areas out here that we have not explored yet, and even though we have trails and things, sometimes it feels like, well, you've seen everything, but no, we have not seen everything. So check this out. So this right here looked exactly like that. And this brush cutter, simply a brush cutter end on the end of this trimmer, it will do some work. Let me show you what I found. So first of all, there's a pretty good drop off here, and I wasn't sure if I should go down there because I was worried I wasn't going to get back up, but I was able to, so let's go down there. Down through here, I mean, we have almost like a cave. It's a really deep ravine that has been caused over time here, so there's definitely been a lot of water, but it's been such a dry year, it's been hard to tell. But like I said, right now it has not rained in a while, and we have water not flowing through here by any means, but there's water sitting in there. So hopefully I'm going to be able to walk the creek from the other side at some point here and see if I can see where that whole thing comes out, because that's pretty interesting how far that drops through there. And now that I have that cleaned out, I can come monitor it a little bit more every once in a while, just see how much water's in there and see what it's doing. So you can see right here where we first came through here this summer with the ATV, and then we were right on the edge of falling in that big hole there when you couldn't see anything. So definitely that would not have been good, but we survived. Alright, so I'm back over by where we were just cutting firewood not too long ago, and Kelsey needs a few more of the fruit off the Osage orange tree so she can finish her decorations out front. And I am going to see if I can find where those were at. There is where we were cutting the wood, so it looks like right over here. So first of all, let me apologize for my voice today. I'll try not to do too much talking on camera, although I probably will have a few things that I want to show you. But I started to lose my voice a couple days ago, and it's getting a little bit better. But a lot has changed here in just the last couple days because I spoke too soon on the corn. Our neighbors decided to completely clean up and mow a bunch of their fields, so things look a lot different out here just in the last couple days. That is a mess. There's one thing I find interesting about these trucks, and that is the fact that this somehow is the step into the bed. And if you look here, you know, these 2500s are, it's a pretty tall truck, and you can get a little step that comes out under here, which I'm probably going to have to do, but I don't understand why they have not gone to the cutout in the bumper, or why this little spot right here is supposed to be your step. It really makes no sense to me, but what do I know? One other thing that's cool here is this does have spots already in this bed for 5-gallon buckets, so there's grooves already put in there so that they will sit there. It's kind of cool. And I've just got some old pumpkins that need to disappear because they're rotten. We'll get up to this muddy part here, right here, and so this is where I was the other day, down in this section over here. And it's definitely getting pretty gooey down here. So you can see here this big log jam that we need to get cleaned up eventually. It's like they pushed all the brush over the edge here and have just left it there. So if you see these here, these canes that are more of like a purple blue color, Kelsey was telling me that from her research that she was doing, these are actually the black caps. So those are the wild black raspberries, and they are really tasty. The things you'll find. I knew I hadn't been seeing that buck recently, and that would be why. That's kind of interesting. There's another patch right there of those black caps. The nice thing that I'm seeing about this area is that there's actually some decent trees back in here. So you notice these up here are not all of the locust trees, which we have pretty much everywhere else. So right, so this is actually what I was cutting the other day, I believe. I actually don't remember there being that many cedar trees by there. These are all cedar trees. And no, I think this is a different one, so I'll have to investigate that. Look for that really tall cedar tree somewhere. And another waterway comes out right here. Alright, coming up on another place where water comes down. And that is the cave area. You can see it back in there, that's where I was. And this is a lot farther down here than I anticipated. You can see this is running right here. What I'm curious about is, obviously you can tell the bank has had a lot of water in it at some point, but even this year it's been so dry, so I know it's not a good representation, but you know, we had 6 inches of rain in a week a couple weeks ago, and it never really got any higher than it is right now. So that either makes me think that the water level changed because of a pond or something got dammed at some point or something. We'll find out. If we get a huge flood someday, I guess we'll see what it looks like. But the interesting thing though about that is that, you know, I'm able to look at the satellite views and, you know, look around at what's up there, and I just don't see anything that kind of tells me that there was a pond or anything that changed this water level. So it will be quite fascinating in the future to see how this changes and kind of monitor it, as hopefully we're not in a drought forever. Also down in this section, you can tell the soil really changed. This is some thick clay, really thick clay. I'm not that far away from the camp area now. Go under here. Getting closer. Back to more of like a sandy bottom here. There we are. Well, that was a good trek back through there. I have not been down that creek bank at all. That was the first time, so it's always fun to explore things like that and see things that, even though we've been here this whole year, we haven't necessarily seen a lot of the different sections and some of the more remote areas of things, so it's always fun. So I think that's gonna about do it for today. I wanna thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time.